to talk about one of the most electrifying players in college football in the last decade. We haven't seen a prospect with this high of a ceiling in a long time. I'm talking about Megatron, Peterson, Luck levels of talent. Will Lamar Jackson reach that level? Well, he has some work to do. Where he lands matters. And even in a perfect landing spot, Jackson has some areas of improvement he must correct if he wants to start early in his career. We'll get to that in a little bit. Where we'll start is what separates Tier 1 QBs from everyone else. Pocket mobility is what wins in today's NFL. We saw both QBs in the Super Bowl lead their teams to the championship because they were able to avoid rushers and make plays behind the line of scrimmage. Being able to avoid sacks is an incredible skill. That's exactly what you see in this play right here. That's what you want. Hey Raiders, this is something that we can't take for granted. Being able to avoid sacks. Incompletions are good. Sacks are not. These are the type of plays that keep your offense on schedule. I don't think we give enough credit to Lamar for the plays that he can make that nobody else can. You want a guy that can stand tall in the pocket with bodies flying around him, and he's able to deliver a strike. That's what wins in the NFL. Jackson is special because he will make you pay with his arm by using his legs. See him avoid the rusher, reset, hit the receiver for a touchdown. In extreme cases, Jackson has avoided the rush, hit the home run over the top, just like you see right here. One thing Jackson has been consistent at is patience in the pocket. I like how he keeps his eyes downfield. Under duress, it doesn't get much better than Jackson. When the defense brings pressure, Jackson's a QB that I know they can count on to beat the defense. He's a playmaker. That's what you want at the position. My favorite critique of Jackson is that he didn't go through his reads. He's not a pro-style quarterback, as if 4 receivers on the field and being in the shotgun means that it's impossible to go through progressions. Bobby Petrino, who had a couple stints in the NFL as a play caller, has an offense that's littered with NFL concepts. This first one that we're going to go through is called the drive concept. To the top of the screen, there's a clear out route, and on the outside, there's a speed out, and that's in the slot. To the bottom, the number 3 receiver is running a dig, number 2 is running a drag route, and the number 1 receiver is running a post. This is a high-low concept that every team in the NFL runs. Watch Jackson go through his reads. Just watch his helmet. He's going to read the defense, scan, hit the receiver, first down. The irony about all this is the more pro-style the play is, the better QB Lamar is. This next route's a switch route. This is what Mike McCoy ran to death in Denver and with the Chargers. It's another high-low combination route. So the outside receiver to the bottom is going to run a 5-yard in cut, and then the slot runs a 10-yard in cut. It's a good example of being patient enough for the receiver to clear a window in the zone, and then he's going to deliver the ball on time. Speaking of windows, this next play is called Houston. It's a play that Josh McDaniels and Kyle Shanahan run at least 10 times a game. Just working from the bottom to the top, you have a curl, a go, an option route that's usually a quick out, a slant route from the receiver, and the running back runs a little swing route. So the swing route and that slant to the top is what we're going to focus on. That's the concept here. The defense wants you to throw that slant right away, and the linebacker is usually going to jump it if you do. So you need to wait for the receiver to clear that linebacker and throw it to the second window. Watch Lamar here. He does that perfectly. Waits, throws it. Simple, but it's an NFL concept. The last example of a pro-style read. It's all stops. So all the receivers are running curl routes. This just shows you how effective Jackson could be on a quick 3-step drops. He throws it on time, keeps the chains moving. That's what you want. That's the segue, using on time. That's Lamar's biggest issue in my opinion. He lacks anticipation, and his arm can only make up for so much of it. You'll see him be a tick late on these throws, and that's all it takes at the next level. Anticipation will definitely be one of the main areas of improvement for Jackson if he wants to get on the field next year. Another area of opportunity for Jackson is just recognizing underneath defenders. Whether it's a curl defender or the flat defender, you'll see him miss, and it'll get ugly, just like this throw right here. One of the main gripes you'll hear about Lamar Jackson is that he lacks accuracy deep. That's what the QB charts tell you. Of all the things people disagree on, I think this is the one that I disagree with the most, his deep ball accuracy. About the aggressive misses, the ones where Jackson puts the ball only where the receiver can get it. This play is going to go down as an incomplete pass. It would drive me nuts. This is what I call an aggressive miss. You can't tell me that an NFL receiver won't fight for this ball. The ball is put exactly where it needs to be. At worst, it's a pass interference. This deep ball is the definition of a dime. Literally nobody else can make a play on this ball but the receiver. Look at the ball placement. Perfection. Has he been receivers deep? Like everyone else in this class, of course. He's also been the culprit of some drops. There have been some flat-out dimes. Earlier in this drive, he actually missed a receiver. But as you can see, he bounced back and he delivers a strike. Look at this ball placement right here. Dime. There's a trend going on here, and that trend is putting the ball exactly where it needs to be. Another dime. Many people are worried about Jackson's mechanics, namely his narrow base. What I see is a quarterback that has sound mechanics on throws where there isn't pressure. When there is pressure, Lamar will overstride and lose accuracy. You'll see that right here. The ball tends to sail in. And then on shorter throws, Jackson will try to aim it or baby it instead of just cutting it loose and throwing it. Watch his body momentum here. Leans into it, aims it. So you'll see his elbow dip, and the ball will just die on him and end up at the receiver's feet. Do the same thing here. Doesn't keep that elbow high, the ball just dies on him. Aims it too. Best example that I can come up with when I mean aim. He's just kind of guiding the ball in there instead of just cutting it loose and firing it in. From an accuracy standpoint, Jackson's a notch below Rosen and Darnold. I haven't even mentioned Lamar's arm yet. He has a hose. I describe him as an easy throw. He's not on Josh Allen's level, but he's clearly above the other top QBs to me. Lamar's velocity is really going to help him out at the next level, and that's where he's going to excel at. I don't pretend that arm strength doesn't matter. Velocity definitely matters, and Lamar has it. When you can make these cross-field throws with a simple flick of the wrist, it opens up your entire play. This is the type of play that makes Lamar QB1. You see him avoid the pressure. He's going to reset. You'll see him unlock his hips and create some natural velocity. That's big time. I don't think there's a better word to describe Jackson than electric. We've seen what he can do as a passer. I showed you that. And believe it or not, you're allowed to run in the NFL. So for me, it's ignorant to ignore the 1,600 yards and 18 rushing touchdowns that he had last year. And outside of designed runs, Jackson will just wait and wait in the pocket, almost to a fault, to find the receiver. This is a good example of being patient to a fault. There's clearly nobody open. See, he avoids the rusher, waits, and then he takes off. What Lamar does is he holds all 11 defenders accountable. Then once he gets you in space, he'll make you look silly. Unlike the other top quarterbacks in the draft, Jackson takes care of the football. He had 10 interceptions in 2017, and 4 came in one game. So how come he's not being applauded for that? He didn't miss a game either. His running style might worry you, but as you can see here, how often do you guys get square shots on him? It's rare. He outruns defenses, and he gets in the end zone. Isn't that what the point is? To score? That's what Lamar does. Give me that guy. Lamar isn't without flaws. I don't think anyone believes that. What he does have is the highest ceiling of all the quarterbacks, and he has so many plus traits. His pocket presence, his ability to extend plays, and just handle pressure. That's big time. He also has a plus arm. And one thing that we really haven't talked about is his decision making, just like taking care of the ball. That's what makes him the best quarterback in the draft, and I'm not sure it's close. You see him just maneuver here, deliver strikes. And then again, we talk about his ability as a runner, puts him over the top from everyone. He's a weapon, he's a playmaker, he's a quarterback that you want on your team.